So today we will going to first of all discuss about spiral model
Yeah.
and RAID methodology, rapid application development. So let's talk about spiral. So
Yeah.
spiral, as you can see, the shape, it's going towards just like look like Doordarshan logo. If you saw Doordarshan
Mm.
logo in probably 90s or something, it's going in
Yeah.
a circle, circle, circle. Sometimes you feel like you will have hypnotized or something, right?
Yeah.
So it is basically the enhancement of a waterfall methodology. It is kind of, we can say, extension
Okay.
of it, and generally is chosen a waterfall uh, because whatever we are doing, we will going to break it down into little bit smaller than whatever we are doing, little bit.
Yeah.
So it has a four
Okay.
phases basically: determine goals, define and resolve risk, develop and test, and the plan following iteration. So next iteration. So we
Mm-hmm.
can consider it is kind of a agile methodology, but it is not that much in the detail. So
Mm-hmm. Okay.
suppose you are developing some certain functionality, you are not focusing that particular functionality, and it will not going to break it down like in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks. Just like we were doing in agile, right? We will going to plan a small sprint and break it down a single functionality in small part and achieve those checkpoints rather than focusing on that functionality or the project. This is kind of you have a huge functionality. Suppose you are working on HR software development, right now. So
Yeah.
that HR software, the first functionality should be you will going to enroll the payment from the HR software. That is the first functionality. The second functionality would be create a pay stub, calculate the taxation. Based on that, it will going to deduct those tax, make the payment. User can able to log their hours and log the timesheet, and also request for leave or something, right? So these are the
Yeah.
huge thing rather than focusing on what is the development part, what is the DevOps part, what is the QA part, what is the UI UX part, right? So
Yeah.
from each cycle you are going towards to the center. Your ultimate goal is developing the application. So it is little bit bigger than the agile methodology, but smaller than waterfall,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So spiral model has a process. Each cycle begin with the determination of goal, objective for that specific prototype cycle. Whatever you do, after that, you will going to provide a demo. So you will going to create a prototype and different alternatives of achieving the defined goal. Whatever the defined goal is, you will going to achieve that. Identify, the second part would be the identify the risk, uncertain, anticipated, and evaluated previously defined alternative based on the project objective. So something will going to happen, a bug or issue will going to occur, or the technology you are choosing which will not going to support something, so you will have some backup plan based on that. So you will going to define everything on the second phase. The third phase is where everybody will going to start working on the project. Developer will going to start developing, tester will going to test the project. And the fourth one is following up with the plan, and next prototype they will going to discuss what we will going to do next. So
Yeah.
what is the strength of spiral methodology? More flexible to changes, whatever the things will going to happen in definition and resolve risk. At that time you can make it change. It is possible. More flexible to changes, where the incremental improvement on the waterfall methodology is not. Whatever you are working on the development phase, QA will be sitting idle at that time. In these things, all four things will going to working in a circle. So QA and developer working side by side.
Yeah.
Risks are identified earlier in the project, so that schedule a budget estimates become more realistic as the work progresses. Whatever the budget will going has decided, it is more realistic because you have a feedback thing. You are working very very agile. You are doing changes, and it will going to applicable those changes, and you can see that and visualize that and analyze that. High amount of risk analysis, risk driven approach. So this is based on the risk driven approach. So high amount of risk analysis, you are able to do that. Can incorporate other methodology within a spiral framework. So in this methodology you can also cooperate with agile. So weaknesses of spiral methodology, applied different for each application. So each application would be differently, it will behave differently. So spiral methodology will not going to fit in with each and every project. Due to too many releases, there is a risk of not meeting budget or schedule. So because of you are doing prototype 1, release 1, then release 2, release 3. So those kind of thing, if prototype 1 has failed, you are not able to release prototype 2, and there is no buffer time or anything. So it will fall like a dominoes, just like uh, or it will going to fall like a house of castle, card of
Yeah.
castle, right? uh,
Yeah.
does not work well with a smaller project. It will not going to work with a smaller project because it's a huge chunk of things you will going to work with. Project success is highly depend on the risk analysis phase, which require highly specific expertise. So if the whoever doing the analysis part, business analyst or anybody else project manager who don't calculate all the risk factor associated with that, they don't create a backup plan for something, then it will going to break into the development phase.
Okay.
So the conclusion
So
is
it is
the
very sensitive. Like, can we say
critical, not
like
sensitive, very critical phase. Define the resolve risk. That is very critical part in
okay.
four phases.
Yeah.
If
Okay. Right.
somebody come and he don't have the seen through the entire project and risk associated with all the releases, the timeline and schedule, then it will going to fall everything. If something fail, then you are not able to keep up with all the set goal, whatever you have did, right?
Yeah.
So spiral methodology follow the concept of build a little, test a little,
Yeah.
where to build a test a working version of software and learn, acquire information gradually, evolve to the final design. So it will going to learn from it. So let's talk about prototyping, right? We talk about it,
Yeah.
prototyping one, prototype two, operational prototype, right? So what is
Yeah.
prototyping?
Uh, Prototyping. I think it is. Okay. I think it is. Say if you are trying to build something, like right, not the entire project, but the smallest part. As you said, build little, test little, right? So let's say you are building that small part of the project. So that little part is the first prototype, or I think the mock The mock preparation that you do
No, mocking is
is
different.
called
Mocking is different.
mocking. Is the
Mocking is
okay?
different. So, prototyping is a quick implementation of an incomplete or functioning application. Incomplete but functioning. So, suppose you are working
Mhm.
on, in your project, you are working on payment prototype, right? So it is not
Yeah.
100% developed. You are just doing testing, and you have built, or your team has built, of of a microservice component, which will which is dealing with the payment services. So the payment will going to come, and where whatever the account number you have set, it will go the payment over there based on the requirement.
Yeah.
So that is called prototyping. So you will going to see, it is not 100 percentage working. So very very best example, if you ever see, or in YouTube you can find a prototype cars. So most of the prototype cars, they don't have functional air conditioning working in the vehicle,
Okay.
because it's a prototype vehicle. It didn't require
Yeah.
to do so. So they will not going to bother to do that. They don't have whatever the laws applicable to any road car. You have to have, in US they have rule that, if you open a trunk in your car, your tail light must be attached within your body. So if you saw a millions of cars example, if you open it, there is a small tail light somewhere associated in some SUV or something, where that light is going through, whenever you are opening a SUV or some what kind of hatchback, it will going to take some
Yeah.
of the light, and there are some light left in the main body. So something happened, accident happened, and you are able to break it, so anybody can see that light. So that is the reason, we have safety reason. So these kind of things will not going to applicable to the prototype vehicle, if you check it out.
Yeah. Okay.
So based on that, it is not 100 percentage completed, 100 percentage working, but whatever the functionality you want to show, you are able to show that, right?
Yeah.
So that is
Okay.
called prototyping.
So it is not mock
Mocking, on the
release or
other
anything.
hand, mimicking something which is not working or functionally working. So suppose, I want to mock up pages. I want to create a website, right? Let's talk about your HR portal, right? So they will going to
Yeah.
create a UI UX designer will going to create a mock-up page. So mock-up
Oh,
pages are the just we can say a printout of a page which is not functioning. If you're going to, if you see that copy, it is just a photograph, JPG file or something. So how it look like, how it will going to function and all, it will not going to do that. If you click
okay.
something will going to happen. It will not going to do that, because
Yeah.
everything under the hood is not workable. On the
Yeah.
other hand, if we see that particular page as a prototype, then if you click something will going to happen on the backend side, something will
Yeah.
going to happen on JavaScript side, React side, right? So
Yeah.
there is some code associated with
Right. But it will be incomplete. That's the difference.
that, right?
Okay. Yeah, I
Mocking, on the
understand.
other hand, it's not a complete, it's nothing, just showing the design or something. That is called mocking.
Yeah.
You're mimicking something. This will going to look like prototype, but it is not.
Yeah. Okay.
Mock up, I can say, if a designer will going to create a design of the car on the paper, digital or real paper, physical paper, that is called mock of a car. The
Yeah.
vehicle will be look like this. On the other hand, prototype is the vehicle properly developed, not 100 percentage working, but underdeveloped, or under construction or something we can say. But whatever the functionality they want to show, it is working on that vehicle,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So that's the difference.
Okay.
The rationale of prototyping is to create a demonstrable result as early as possible and present it to the business and end user to get their feedback. So that is the reason why they are doing prototyping, why you are doing
Yeah.
demo. In demo, they will going to show a prototype software which is functioning. So they will
Yeah.
get the feedback, oh no, this is not look good, we need to make some changes. So something
Right.
like that. Right? Also, the
Yeah.
experience of the developing a prototype is very useful for the developers when creating the final system, which result in reducing the cost of the development and more reliable system. So you will going to grow basically and understand the feedback, because engineer thing in engineer terminology, architecture will going to design something in a very architectural manner, engineering manner as well. The designer, the UI UX designer will going to design very artistically, right?
Yeah.
So they are not able to see all those things. So that's why prototyping is required. It's necessary.
Yeah.
Do you understand this spiral methodology?
Yeah. I do.
Okay, great. Let's talk about RAID, not movie, but rapid application development, RAD,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
RAID model, if you are a student of a computer science, you have seen, a lot of time RAID uh, uh, acronym in a lot of stuff. We have a RAID system in hardware and database as well, where you are going to use RAID methodology to create a copy of your databases. So if something will going to happen with one copy, then you will have the backup. So
Yeah.
this is a little bit different. RAID model was created to fill the need of delivery very fast. So whenever you
Yeah.
require
Rapid.
to deliver something in a very fast manner, so you will going to follow the RAID methodology, where you will going to analyze, build, refine, testing. Everything will going to demonstrate a RAID cycle, we call it, right? And then after
Yeah.
testing and implementation. So it will going to going in a, everything is working traditionally waterfall methodology, except the building and developing, and it also include demonstration as well.
So demonstration means whatever that you are
Demo,
building, you
prototyping,
are showing it to someone.
yes, basically a prototyping.
So it is almost same. I think the only difference is it is fast.
No, no,
Am I
no,
right? No.
no, because RAID is little bit different, where all the other things, analyze and design, all those things are working traditionally. Testing will work traditionally. Implementation work traditionally throughout the entire project. Only the
Yeah.
designing and development part is in under the RAID methodology, RAID cycle.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if you talk about this thing, spiral methodology, we will going to take a huge functionality and then prototype one, prototype two, prototype three, and the final release, right? So it's a huge chunk of the project you will going to do. You will going to work on 25% of the project on the first cycle.
Yeah.
Another time you will going to work on 30% of the project. And it will last to, one cycle lasts to, something like more than 3 months or 6 months or something,
Yeah.
right? On the RAID methodology, whatever you have developed, You will going to take show a demo, then again you will going to work on based on the feedback. You will going to refine it, build it, refine it, build it again, demo.
Yeah,
So that is difference. That's the difference between
yeah.
analysis and the traditional and raid method.
I think as you said, the build part is different. Otherwise, the rest is same.
Yeah, rest is same with
And
waterfall
build part is
methodology.
iterative.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. I think your internet connection is not fine, but I am able to. Um, your voice cut off sometimes, but I am able to hear you.
What is it?
Yeah,
So
now it's fine. I was not able to see you.